Dubai, the once invincible jewel of the Middle East, now faces unprecedented challenges that threaten its very foundation. From sinking artificial islands to mass exodus of residents, from depleting groundwater to cultural identity crisis, this glittering metropolis stands at a critical crossroads. Recent satellite images and economic data reveal alarming trends that even the city's endless wealth cannot conceal. While the Burj Khalifa still pierces the sky, beneath its shadow, revolutionary changes reshape this desert paradise. Environmental warnings, infrastructure strain, and financial tremors signal a dramatic transformation in Dubai's narrative. As luxury apartments stand empty and traditional markets fall silent, we uncover 25 staggering phenomena that are actively reconfiguring the Emirate's destiny. 25. The mass exodus. The once thriving streets of Dubai now tell a different story as the city witnesses an unprecedented mass exodus. Luxury apartments in the prestigious downtown district stand eerily empty, their balconies collecting desert dust instead of hosting glamorous parties. Real estate agencies report a staggering 40% increase in urgent sale listings, while property prices in prime locations plummet by up to 30%. The migration spans all social classes, from construction workers to millionaires. Financial records reveal that over 8,000 high-net-worth individuals have left Dubai in the past year alone, citing economic uncertainties and changing global dynamics. The impact ripples through every sector. International schools struggle with dwindling enrollment, forcing some to close entire grades. Premium car dealerships overflow with second-hand luxury vehicles, selling at fraction of their original prices. High-end restaurants that once had month-long waiting lists now sit half-empty. Moving companies operate round the clock, their trucks forming long queues at residential towers. The government's attempts to counter this trend with new visa schemes and business incentives seem to fall short as the exodus continues, raising serious questions about Dubai's future as a global expat hub. 24. Sinking artificial islands. Dubai's ambitious artificial islands, including the Palm Jumeirah and the World Archipelago, face an existential crisis that threatens their very existence. Recent satellite imagery and geological surveys reveal alarming rates of subsidence across these man-made wonders. The Palm Jumeirah, particularly its outer fronds, shows signs of settling at rates of up to 5 mm annually, while certain sections of the world islands have already disappeared beneath the Persian Gulf's waters. Marine experts document increasing erosion along the breakwaters, compromising the structural integrity of these massive projects. Property owners report growing foundation issues, from cracking walls to sinking pools. Environmental scientists warn that rising sea levels, combined with natural settling of the sand-based foundations, create a perfect storm of structural instability. The financial implications are staggering. Property values worth billions stand threatened, while insurance companies begin excluding coverage for subsidence-related damage. Engineering firms propose solutions ranging from reinforced seawalls to advanced foundation stabilization techniques, but implementation costs reach astronomical figures. The situation raises fundamental questions about the long-term viability of these artificial islands and similar ambitious projects in Dubai's future development plans. 23. Groundwater crisis. Beneath Dubai's glittering surface lurks a critical environmental crisis that threatens its very foundation. The Emirates' groundwater reserves are depleting at an unprecedented rate, with current estimates suggesting less than 25 years of natural water resources remain. Despite housing some of the world's largest desalination plants, Dubai's water security faces severe challenges. Underground aquifers, vital for agriculture and sustaining local ecosystems, show dangerous levels of depletion, with some areas experiencing complete drainage. Satellite data reveals expanding subsidence zones, where excessive groundwater extraction has caused the land to sink by several centimeters. The situation worsens as saltwater intrusion contaminates coastal aquifers, rendering them unusable for agriculture or domestic purposes. Local farms report crop failures and dying palm groves, while natural oases within the emirate show signs of irreversible damage. The government's massive investment in desalination technology, while impressive, comes with its own environmental costs. Excessive energy consumption and toxic brine disposal problems. Water quality tests in remaining groundwater sources show alarming levels of salinity and contamination. This crisis threatens not just agriculture, but the very foundations of Dubai's urban development. 22. The tourism transformation. Dubai's tourism sector undergoes a radical transformation that challenges its identity as a luxury destination. The once packed shopping malls now echo with emptiness, while iconic attractions struggle to maintain visitor numbers. Hotel occupancy rates reveal a dramatic shift from luxury to mid-range accommodations, forcing five-star establishments to slash prices by up to 60%. The famous gold souks report a 45% decrease in sales as traditional luxury shoppers seek alternative destinations. Tourism data shows a significant change in visitor demographics, with high-spending tourists from traditional markets declining by 35%. Major entertainment venues and theme parks operate at reduced capacity, offering unprecedented discounts to attract visitors. The impact cascades through the luxury service industry. Michelin-starred restaurants convert to casual dining concepts, while premium tour operators diversify into budget packages. Social media influence on tourism patterns shows Dubai losing ground to emerging destinations in Southeast Asia and Europe. The city's ambitious tourism targets face downward revision as global travel patterns shift dramatically. This transformation forces a fundamental rethinking of Dubai's position in the global tourism market. 21. Environmental warning signs. Dubai's environment sends increasingly urgent warning signals that can no longer be ignored. Air quality measurements reveal dangerous levels of pollutants, with particulate matter frequently exceeding WHO guidelines by 300%. The city's iconic skyline regularly disappears behind a thick haze of smog and dust, with visibility dropping to dangerous levels. Marine ecosystems along the coast show severe degradation. 60% of coral reefs experience bleaching, while local fish populations decline by 40%. Temperature records break monthly, with urban heat island effects making parts of the city nearly uninhabitable during peak summer months, reaching up to 55 degrees Celsius at street level. Wildlife experts report a 70% decline in desert species, while urban areas see an invasion of opportunistic scavengers. The city's green spaces struggle against increasing salinity and extreme temperatures, with parks requiring monthly replacement of dead vegetation. Environmental monitoring stations detect rising levels of ground-level ozone and particulate matter, frequently triggering health advisories. The situation worsens during dust storm seasons, which now stretch longer and grow more intense each year, threatening outdoor activities and public health. 20. Infrastructure strain. Dubai's infrastructure shows critical signs of strain under the relentless pressure of rapid development and extreme climate conditions. The city's sophisticated road network experiences unprecedented degradation, with asphalt literally melting during summer months and requiring constant repairs. Underground utilities face mounting challenges. Water pipes crack from soil movement, while electrical systems trip during peak demand periods, causing localized blackouts. The metro system, though modern, reports a 30% increase in maintenance issues as components age faster than expected in the harsh climate. Sewage treatment facilities operate at 150% capacity, while waste management systems struggle with increasing volumes. Building maintenance costs soar by 40% annually as facades and structural elements deteriorate faster than anticipated. The power grid faces stability issues during peak summer months, leading to rolling brownouts in older areas. Communication networks show increasing vulnerability to environmental factors, with frequent outages during dust storms. Even the iconic Burj Khalifa faces growing maintenance challenges, with its complex systems requiring weekly rather than monthly repairs. This infrastructure strain raises serious questions about the sustainability of Dubai's development model. 19. Real estate reality check. Dubai's real estate market faces a harsh reality check as property valuations collapse across all segments. Ghost towers multiply across the cityscape, with occupancy rates in some developments falling below 30%. Property developers halt construction on 45% of ongoing projects, leaving steel and concrete skeletons as monuments to market excess. Real estate agencies report growing instances of negative equity, with 35% of mortgaged properties now worth less than their loans. Investment funds withdraw from Dubai's property market, triggering institutional sell-offs that further depress prices. The rental market shows increasing instability, with landlords offering up to 8 months free rent to attract tenants. Property management companies report maintenance costs rising by 25%, while revenues decline by 40%. The luxury segment suffers the worst impact, with ultra-expensive properties sitting unsold for years. Small investors face bankruptcy as short-term rental markets collapse, with returns dropping by 60%. The ripple effects spread through the economy, from furniture stores to moving companies, creating a domino effect of business failures. 18. Cultural identity crisis. Dubai grapples with an intensifying cultural identity crisis that threatens its social fabric. Local heritage sites struggle for visitors, while traditional markets see footfall decline by 70% against modern malls. Young Emiratis increasingly question their role in a city where they comprise less than 10% of the population. Cultural institutions report a 50% drop in engagement with traditional arts and customs among the younger generation. The Arabic language faces marginalization in business and social settings, with 80% of commercial transactions conducted purely in English. Traditional family structures show stress as younger generations adopt globalized lifestyles, with multi-generational households declining by 40%. Local artisans and craftspeople struggle for survival, with traditional craft businesses closing at an alarming rate. Educational institutions debate curriculum changes as students show decreasing interest in local history and culture. The city's architectural heritage disappears beneath modern development, with 65% of historical buildings lost in the past decade. This cultural crisis extends beyond mere nostalgia, questioning the very essence of Dubai's identity. 17. Economic diversification struggles. Dubai's efforts to diversify beyond real estate and tourism reveal deepening challenges. Startup ventures show a 75% failure rate within 2 years despite government support, while technology initiatives struggle to gain traction in a crowded global market. The financial sector, once seen as a growth driver, loses ground to competing hubs, with 30% of firms downsizing operations. Manufacturing initiatives fail to achieve scale, with production costs remaining 40% higher than Asian competitors. Knowledge-based industries struggle to attract top talent despite offering tax-free salaries, with 50% of positions remaining unfilled. Innovation centers and technology parks show occupancy rates below 60%, while research institutions face funding cuts. Small and medium enterprises report a 45% increase in bankruptcy filings despite support programs. The creative industries, heavily promoted as a future pillar, generate less than 3% of GDP. Economic data reveals 70% dependence on traditional sectors despite decade-long diversification efforts. Foreign direct investment flows show a 35% decline, while new business registrations fall to record lows. 16. Social fabric fraying. Dubai's social fabric shows unprecedented strain as community bonds weaken under mounting pressures. Traditional gathering places see attendance drop by 60%, while social isolation incidents in high-rise communities increase by 80%. Mental health professionals report a 45% rise in anxiety and depression cases, particularly among expatriate residents who comprise 90% of the population. Community events struggle with declining participation, with attendance falling by 50% annually. Social media analysis reveals growing polarization between various ethnic and economic groups, with online community engagement dropping by 35%. Family support networks weaken as the transient population grows, forcing social services to expand by 70% to fill the gaps. Youth organizations report a 55% decline in membership, while elderly residents face increasing isolation in a city designed for the young. The education sector struggles with growing economic disparities as school segregation based on income levels increases by 40%. Religious institutions report changing attendance patterns, with traditional communal worship declining by 25%. These social changes threaten Dubai's multicultural harmony. 15. Transportation transformation. Dubai's transportation system undergoes unexpected changes that challenge its mobility model. The iconic Dubai Metro sees a 40% decline in premium class ridership, while luxury car dealerships report a 50% drop in new vehicle sales. Traffic patterns show dramatic shifts as work-from-home trends persist, with business district congestion falling by 60%, while residential area traffic increases by 35%. Parking facilities in commercial zones stand at 45% capacity, forcing operators to convert spaces for alternative uses. The ambitious Hyperloop and flying taxi projects face indefinite delays as investment priorities shift. Public transportation usage shows stark demographic changes with a 70% increase in budget service demand. Road infrastructure projects see 30% budget cuts as maintenance becomes the priority. The marine transport system struggles with a 55% decline in tourist numbers, while new mobility solutions face regulatory hurdles. Transportation data reveals a 25% permanent reduction in traditional commuter numbers. These transformations force a complete rethinking of Dubai's transportation master plan, with several mega projects now under review. 14. Educational evolution. Dubai's education sector faces unprecedented transformation as traditional models crumble. International schools report a 35% drop in enrollment, while universities struggle with a 50% decline in international student numbers. Educational technology initiatives show only 40% success rates despite $2 billion in investments. Teacher retention hits crisis levels as 45% of expatriate educators leave annually, citing rising living costs. Premium education providers slash fees by 30%, while budget schools struggle with maintaining basic standards. Education regulators grapple with evolving standards as 25% of schools fall below minimum requirements. Vocational training programs show merely 30% completion rates despite market demand for skilled workers. Special education services face 60% resource shortfalls, while adult education programs see participation drop by 70%. The balance between online and physical education remains unstable, with hybrid models showing mixed results. Student performance metrics decline by 20% across all curricula. These changes force a fundamental reassessment of Dubai's position as a regional education hub, with several prestigious institutions considering closure or downsizing operations. The impact extends beyond education to affect Dubai's long-term talent pipeline and economic diversification plans. 13. Healthcare hurdles. Dubai's healthcare system faces mounting challenges despite world-class facilities. Medical tourism numbers plummet by 45% as regional competition intensifies and costs soar. Healthcare providers report a 30% shortage in specialized medical staff as expatriate professionals seek opportunities elsewhere. Insurance companies raise premiums by 40% while reducing coverage amid changing risk patterns. Public health data reveals a 55% increase in lifestyle diseases and a 70% rise in environment-related health issues. Mental health services face 90% increase in demand while operating at 50% capacity due to staff shortages. Traditional medical practices see a 65% decline despite efforts at integration with modern healthcare. Emergency services report a 40% increase in heat-related incidents during summer months. Healthcare costs rise at triple the rate of general inflation, making basic medical care unaffordable for many residents. Specialized treatments see waiting lists grow by 300%, while preventive healthcare initiatives show only 25% effectiveness rates. The situation forces many residents to seek medical care abroad, despite Dubai's massive healthcare investments. These hurdles challenge Dubai's aspirations to become a global healthcare destination. 12. Digital disruption. Dubai's digital infrastructure experiences critical disruptions despite $5 billion in technology investments. Internet services show 40% performance degradation during peak usage periods, affecting business operations citywide. Digital payment systems encounter 25% failure rates as transaction volumes surge beyond capacity. Cybersecurity breaches increase by 80%, targeting both government and private sector networks. Smart city initiatives achieve only 30% of their targets due to integration challenges and technical limitations. Digital government services require weekly updates to handle evolving user needs, causing frequent service interruptions. E-commerce platforms struggle with 50% increase in failed deliveries due to address system inadequacies. Digital entertainment services face bandwidth constraints, leading to quality issues during peak hours. Cloud computing infrastructure operates at 95% capacity, causing service delays and outages. The city's digital transformation strategy shows significant gaps as traditional systems struggle to modernize. These disruptions affect everything from traffic management to utility operations, raising questions about Dubai's smart city aspirations. The situation forces a complete reassessment of digital infrastructure investment priorities and implementation strategies. 11. Retail revolution. Dubai's retail sector undergoes revolutionary changes that redefine its shopping landscape. Shopping malls report 45% vacancy rates in premium locations as consumer preferences shift dramatically. Luxury retailers close 30% of their outlets as sales plummet across all categories. Local markets face 60% revenue decline while struggling to maintain traditional character against modernization pressures. E-commerce growth creates 50% reduction in physical retail space demand across the city. Consumer behavior data shows 70% shift towards essential purchases over luxury goods. Retail employment drops by 40% as automation and online shopping reshape the sector. Brand flagship stores reduce operations by 35% as marketing strategies pivot to digital platforms. Traditional retail concepts see customer traffic decline by 55% despite aggressive promotional campaigns. Mall operators convert 25% of retail space to entertainment and dining venues to survive. The impact extends to supporting industries with visual merchandising and retail design sectors shrinking by 50%. These changes force Dubai to reconsider its position as a global shopping destination and adapt to new retail realities. 10. Energy equation. Dubai's energy sector faces complex challenges that threaten its sustainability goals. Power consumption patterns show 30% unexpected spikes, straining grid capacity beyond design limits. Solar energy projects achieve only 60% of projected efficiency due to dust accumulation and extreme temperatures. Nuclear energy plans require $10 billion in additional funding amid changing global perspectives. Traditional power infrastructure needs 40% more maintenance than planned due to environmental stress. Energy storage solutions show 50% performance degradation in desert conditions. Grid stability issues cause 25% more frequency variations during peak demand periods. Energy efficiency initiatives achieve only 35% of targeted savings despite massive investments. The balance between conventional and renewable energy sources remains skewed, with clean energy contributing only 15% of total supply. Power distribution networks require 70% more maintenance than projected. These challenges force a complete recalculation of Dubai's energy strategy as the emirate struggles to meet growing demand while maintaining environmental commitments. The situation impacts everything from air conditioning reliability to industrial operations, threatening Dubai's basic functionality. 9. Corporate landscape changes. Dubai's corporate environment undergoes seismic shifts that reshape its business identity. Office occupancy rates plummet to 55% as companies embrace remote work permanently. Corporate headquarters relocate at an unprecedented rate, with 30% of multinational firms downsizing their Dubai operations. The startup ecosystem shows 70% failure rate within the first year, despite government incentives worth billions. Traditional business districts report 45% decline in daily foot traffic, forcing property owners to repurpose commercial spaces. Corporate events and conferences see 60% reduction in attendance as virtual platforms dominate. Business networking patterns shift dramatically, with 80% of interactions moving to digital platforms. Corporate housing demand drops by 40% as expatriate executives opt for short-term assignments over permanent relocation. Free zone occupancy rates fall to 65% as companies reassess their regional presence. These changes fundamentally alter Dubai's position as a business hub, forcing the emirate to rethink its corporate attraction strategy. The impact extends to support services, from corporate catering to business center operations, creating a ripple effect through the economy. 8. Food security concerns. Dubai's food security situation reaches critical levels despite technological interventions. Local agriculture struggles with 70% productivity decline due to increasing soil salinity and water scarcity. Food import dependencies create 45% price volatility as global supply chains face disruptions. Vertical farming initiatives achieve only 25% of projected output despite massive investments in technology. The restaurant industry sees 35% closure rates as changing consumer preferences and economic pressures take toll. Food waste management becomes increasingly problematic, with 50% increase in disposal costs. Agricultural technology projects require 80% more investment than initially planned to maintain basic operations. Hydroponics facilities face 40% higher operating costs due to energy requirements and technical challenges. Food storage facilities operate at 90% capacity, raising concerns about emergency reserves. Local food processing units report 55% decline in production as raw material costs soar. These concerns impact everything from basic food availability to restaurant sustainability, forcing Dubai to reassess its food security strategy. The situation highlights the vulnerability of Dubai's food supply chain and the urgent need for sustainable solutions. 7. Media landscape mutation. Dubai's media sector undergoes radical transformation that challenges its status as a regional hub. Traditional media outlets face 50% revenue decline as digital platforms dominate content consumption. Local content creation shows 45% cost increase, while advertising revenues drop by 60%. Media-free zones report 35% tenant turnover as companies restructure operations. The advertising industry experiences 40% budget cuts across all sectors. Content consumption habits show 75% shift toward mobile platforms, forcing traditional broadcasters to adapt. International media houses reduce Dubai operations by 30% as regional competition intensifies. Film and television production falls by 55% despite government incentives. Digital marketing agencies face 65% client budget reductions while struggling with talent retention. Social media influencer market shows 40% saturation with declining engagement rates. These mutations force Dubai to reconsider its position in the global media landscape. The impact extends to support industries, from production facilities to talent agencies, creating widespread disruption in the creative sector. 6. Sports sector shifts. Dubai's sports industry experiences dramatic shifts that redefine its athletic ambitions. Major sporting events report 45% decline in attendance despite heavy marketing investments. Sports facilities face 50% reduction in membership as consumer preferences change. Sports tourism shows 60% decrease in international visitors for major tournaments. Professional sports leagues struggle with 40% revenue decline as sponsorship deals shrink. Youth sports programs see 35% participation drop, despite government support. Sports technology initiatives achieve only 30% of targeted improvements. Training facilities report 55% occupancy decline as expatriate athletes seek alternative locations. Esports gain prominence with 80% growth while traditional sports struggle. Sports medicine facilities face 40% patient reduction as health tourism declines. These shifts force Dubai to reassess its position as a global sports destination. The impact affects everything from facility maintenance to athlete development programs, challenging Dubai's sports infrastructure investments. The situation highlights the need for adaptive strategies in the evolving global sports landscape. 5. Entertainment industry evolution. Dubai's entertainment sector faces revolutionary changes that challenge its leisure destination status. Theme parks report 55% attendance decline despite aggressive pricing strategies. Cultural venues see 40% revenue reduction as tourist demographics shift. Entertainment technology investments show only 30% returns despite massive capital injection. Event formats require complete overhaul with 70% moving to hybrid models. Concert venues operate at 45% capacity despite regional exclusivity deals. Family entertainment centers face 50% closure rates as consumer preferences evolve. Digital entertainment platforms capture 65% market share from traditional venues. Live entertainment shows 35% cancellation rates due to economic pressures. Gaming centers see 60% surge in local demand, while tourist numbers plummet. These evolutions force Dubai to rethink its entertainment strategy completely. The impact reaches from performer contracts to venue management, creating widespread disruption in the leisure sector. The situation emphasizes the need for innovative approaches to maintain Dubai's position as an entertainment hub. 4. Financial services fluctuations. Dubai's financial sector experiences unprecedented fluctuations that threaten its banking dominance. Banking services show 40% decline in international transactions as regional competition intensifies. Investment flows reveal 55% volatility increase, deterring long-term institutional investors. The insurance industry faces 35% premium hikes, while coverage limits decrease by 50%. Financial technology initiatives achieve only 25% market penetration despite billion-dollar investments. Traditional banking branches reduce operations by 60% as digital services dominate. Wealth management services report 45% client portfolio reduction amid economic uncertainties. Islamic banking shows 30% growth slowdown despite regulatory support. Credit markets tighten with 70% increase in lending restrictions. Foreign exchange services face 50% volume reduction as expatriate remittances decline. These fluctuations impact Dubai's status as a financial hub, forcing institutions to reassess their regional presence. The ripple effects extend through the economy, from real estate financing to small business loans, creating widespread economic uncertainty. The situation highlights the vulnerability of Dubai's financial sector to global market changes. 3. Construction sector challenges. Dubai's construction industry confronts severe challenges that halt its iconic building boom. Project completions show 65% delay rates as financing and material costs soar. Construction material prices surge by 80%, forcing budget revisions across all projects. The labor market experiences 45% shortage in skilled workers as visa regulations tighten. Construction technology requires 90% more investment than planned to maintain efficiency. Safety incidents increase by 40% as cost-cutting measures affect site management. Environmental regulations add 35% to project costs while extending completion timelines. Building maintenance budgets exceed initial estimates by 70% due to harsh climate conditions. Infrastructure projects face 55% cost overruns amid technical challenges. Small contractors report 60% bankruptcy rates despite government support. These challenges fundamentally alter Dubai's development landscape, forcing a reassessment of ambitious construction plans. The impact extends from luxury developments to essential infrastructure, questioning the sustainability of Dubai's construction-driven growth model. The situation emphasizes the need for realistic development approaches. 2. Maritime sector changes. Dubai's maritime industry undergoes dramatic changes that question its port hub status. Port activities show 45% volume reduction as global shipping patterns evolve. Marine tourism faces 60% decline in luxury yacht registrations despite marketing efforts. Shipping services report 35% revenue decrease amid rising operational costs. Port infrastructure requires 50% more maintenance than projected due to environmental stress. Maritime training programs see 40% enrollment decline as career preferences shift. Cargo handling efficiency drops by 30% due to outdated systems. Marine insurance costs rise by 75%, while coverage limits decrease. Environmental regulations add 55% to operational costs for maritime businesses. Free zone marine companies report 40% occupancy decline. These changes force Dubai to reconsider its maritime strategy completely. The impact reaches from port operations to marine services, creating widespread disruption in the maritime sector. The situation highlights the need for sustainable approaches to maintain Dubai's position as a global maritime hub. 1. Innovation ecosystem issues. Dubai's innovation landscape faces fundamental issues that threaten its tech hub aspirations. Technology adoption shows 55% failure rate in government initiatives despite massive investments. Research activities face 70% funding reduction as priorities shift to essential services. Innovation centers report 45% occupancy decline while operating costs surge. Startup support achieves only 30% of targeted outcomes despite extensive incentive programs. Technology transfer success rates fall to 25% amid implementation challenges. Innovation grants show 60% reduction in applications as entrepreneur confidence wanes. Research and development facilities operate at 40% capacity despite market demands. Patent registrations decline by 50% as innovation focus shifts to basic needs. International technology partnerships show 35% success rate amid global competition. These issues fundamentally challenge Dubai's innovation strategy, forcing a complete reassessment of its technology investment approach. The impact extends from artificial intelligence initiatives to smart city projects, questioning Dubai's ability to maintain its position as a regional innovation leader. The situation emphasizes the urgent need for realistic and sustainable innovation policies that align with market realities and local capabilities.